Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Every Friday we're going to be doing an overview of ATV's featurettes, elaborating on the more important information therein. This week was Render to Texture and Secondary Viewpoint. It's actually called Secondary Viewport rather than Point, but it makes more sense to me to call it Secondary Viewpoint, so I will. So what is Render to Texture? Render to Texture allows you to create texture maps based on an object's appearance in a rendered scene. The textures are then baked or put onto an object. They become part of that object via mapping, and this can be used to display texture objects rapidly in various forms. Star Citizen has evolved an efficient version of this for a variety of purposes, and it's a much more powerful way of doing it for them anyway. Secondary Viewpoint. This render to texture system can be combined with something called Secondary Viewpoint, which is an efficient system to allow in-world cameras to target an area and then transform it into a texture and then decide what resolution that texture needs to be based on where it is, what it's being displayed on, and various other factors, rather than having items pre-rendered and stored on your hard drive and then without effectively context of it being generated in-game displayed. What uses does this have? Various things are going to make use of Secondary Viewpoint and or Render to Texture tech, including the mobiGlass, HUDs, mirrors, TVs, screens, 2D boards, maps, comms calls, consoles, kiosks, and even 3D holograms, which will be fully 3D and viewable at any kind of angle. This can be used for UI elements as well, such as HUDs, kiosks, consoles, and similar displays, allowing for the UI and other visual effects to be projected in-game instead of being layered over the screen as a post effect. Anything that therefore affects a scene or an environment will affect your UI elements as well. Basically, Secondary Viewpoint uses render-to-texture systems to allow cameras to display a live scene from wherever you are, elsewhere in the game somewhere, and then display it on a 2D screen or as a 3D holographic volume, all rendered in-game and done at real time. This allows for a much more immersive experience, as it makes UIs, HUDs, and holographics part of the game world and far more contextual. Characters and performances happening from them will be live in a room or wherever they are. They're going to be wearing the clothes that they're wearing. They're going to be doing that performance there, and then it's going to be taken elsewhere. So you'll be able to see the background of where they actually are in the verse. If they call you from a ship or someone walks past them, you're going to see that too. This could be Mark Hamill's character calling you from his ship, in Squadron 42 anyway, where you're his wingman. Or it could be a mission briefing displaying on a 2D screen. Or it could be a fully 3D hologram, but you actually see what they are actually performing live effectively. And this could be used for comm calls between players, where you will see them effectively talking in front of their mobiGlass to you live. People could be behind them or whatever. So the rendering system for this has a fixed memory budget and uses a texture pool in the same way that other texture pools are used, like shadow pools and that sort of stuff. So the resolution of items is adjusted and optimized and can even account for multiple cameras, what screen it's being displayed on. It could be multiple streams being displayed on a single render to texture or being streamed to multiple objects, and it will know and adjust the size and resolution accordingly. So it's quite smart, and it's trying to be as optimized as possible, because there are lots of odd edge cases where you could try and get infinity loops of people trying to do cameras and cameras and cameras, but it should smartly smash down those resolutions. The systems all communicate with each other as well, so cameras will look at what the facial animation systems are supposed to be doing and work out the most efficient way of displaying them. This can also be streamed to multiple objects and multiple surfaces simultaneously in 2D or 3D at any angle they can be viewed at as well, and it will look like it's supposed to at that angle. The idea is that the system can be much more efficient and allow for great performance, while also allowing quite ingenious features, as well as having like less aliasing, so more anti-aliasing I suppose, and generally being more powerful and scalable. So stuff should look relatively good when it's done in this fashion. Objects and renders can have effects then added to them however they want. So this can be tints, flickering, interlacing, different shader stuff, lighting changes, kind of whatever they want to add. This also allows for fading and dissolving for objects, so that when objects might reach the edge of displays, they don't just vanish or clip out or anything, and they can do it so it all looks very nice and smooth. As I said earlier as well, kiosks and consoles and the mobiGlass use render to texture, but also require a mouse pointer manager to work out what you're pointing at and what you're interacting with. So this is like an additional thing that it's required for that. So screens on your Mobiglass and kiosks and consoles and stuff will be readable by other players, but they're not going to see where your mouse pointer is pointing, because that's a whole nother level of tracking and odd stuff. So possible uses. There are quite a few possible uses for the render to texture and second viewpoint stuff. The Reliant Mako is supposed to be an in-game news van ship with cameras on. This could allow for in-game live events, races, news coverage, and then for that to be while recording or being recorded, to be displayed live on screens around the verse, on people's Mobiglasses, in-game news, on websites and lore and that sort of stuff. It also has the possibility of being able to record stuff in-game without the requirement of in-game capture software. If you see what I mean. So you don't need to use OBS to capture in-game stuff now. You can capture it in-game, which is just an odd thing. This has the potential for videos and other things from YouTube or even crazy Twitch integration to allow for videos and live streams to be shown in-game as well, because it can render the texture from anything, technically, and it depends on how they want to use it. There could be belly cams for ships for landing as well, so you can see what's underneath your ship. There could be security cameras on stations, bases, vehicles, and ships, and then display to different types of monitors that you can flick through, or have a big security office, although having loads and loads of render textures in the same area, well, with the secondary viewpoint stuff, might be a bit resource intensive, so they need to be smart with that. Scouting drones as well, that you could display what they see on a monitor. That could be a controllable one from players, and that would allow for quite interesting controllable missiles as well. Or you could have AI flying it, and you could just literally be viewing what it's seeing. You could also potentially have smart clothing that displays messages or different pictures and patterns. I suspect in the future it will be used for various customization of things. You might be able to get org branded items, which will then use the render texture system, or like on your HUD, or player-made holograms and graphics in the future as well that will be integrated into that. Mirrors could also be done extremely well in-game using render to texture and the second viewpoint system, though this could be very costly again resource-wise, which is why the system does need further optimization, and that's basically what the open development is about. They show us these cool things and go, look, we're optimizing them fully, but look at what we can use them now. The secondary viewpoint stuff does allow for so much in the Star Citizen universe, as well as an efficient, elegant solution to making HUDs, screens, holograms, all be part of the game and in context rather than pre-rendered. Both render to texture and second viewpoint will continue to evolve, becoming more efficient and optimized, and used wherever it is sensible to do so. The ideas of comms from players and having interference on those calls, or them getting jammed while I'm chatting to someone, is quite appealing to me. I like that idea, getting pulled out and interdicted and being jammed. I'm also interested if the AI will be able to identify certain things with render to texture and second viewpoints in the system. If you do have security cameras that NPCs will be using and watching, will they be able to identify an intruder? Will they understand some of the stuff that is going on there? Could I reconnect? Can I connect security cameras from my ship or a base to like a Spectrum phone app so I could watch something from in-game on my phone that's actually happening live? Will hacking be involved with the render to texture stuff and the second viewpoint stuff? Will I be able to hack into other people's streams of cameras and whatever someone else is looking at? Will I be able to hack a drone? Whatever it becomes when fully fleshed out, though, it's going to allow for better integration of visual elements, a powerful system for multiple uses, and it will all help with the context of what's happening in the game world. Every month we have a giveaway for August. It's another Nox Q. I love these little ground vehicles. I think they're going to be absolutely awesome, and they're going to be in 3.0, so woo, something you can actually use soon. All you need to do is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and comment on one of my Star Citizen videos during that particular month. Any questions about render to texture or about the second viewpoint stuff, or further uses, or things that you think it might be used for, chuck it in the description, comments, whatever the things down below. Go down below. Also, questions on Star Citizen's development in general, Alpha 3.0, all that sort of jazz. A special thank you to my Patreons that allow me to create the amount of content I do. If you are interested in becoming one of them, find the link to Patreon, as well as everything else we've talked to down below. I've also included a link to a further description on the render to texture and second viewpoint optimizations too. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help me, and I will see you in the verse.